My Messy Life. I'll check it out. Name it was a. What's up, everybody? All right, y'all. Steven's gonna tell his story tonight.
Pause.
Steven's gonna tell his story tonight, so we'll put it on YouTube after this in case anybody misses it or if you don't get to watch the whole thing. Steven's a good friend of mine. I've known him pretty much my whole life. We've done a lot of stuff together. What's up, Aaron? We've done a lot of stuff together. We both come from a lot of the same background. But yeah, y'all listen to Steven. It's his time.
What's up, everybody? I went through a 12-step program, so that's how I got this. So that's how I'm going to give it. Some of you might not agree with some of the things I say, but that's okay. It's fine with me. But just want everybody to know that. And I will be talking a lot about a higher power, and I may come up and call higher power God, because that's what my higher power is God. Okay, but a higher power can be anything that you want it to be. I've seen people, call the fellowship, call their family, call their kids their higher power. Anything can be your higher power. But the program I went through, man, it tells me to start out by saying, Steven, my name's Steven, and I am an alcoholic / addict. I'm definitely a meth addict for 15 years. But I use Alcoholics Anonymous to stay sober. It's just my platform. That's what I use. It tells me to tell my story by what it was like, what happened, and how it is now. So I'll start out with what it was like, or what it was beforehand. I wouldn't necessarily say my addiction started out when I was really, really young, and I'm talking really young, like 3 years old. I wasn't going to say my addiction started then, but I was drinking more at the time I was 3 and 4 years old than most 21-year-olds drink today, because my grandfather at the time, or my grandfather, thought that it was funny and okay for me to have beer, and every time I went over there, he gave me beer. I liked it. I liked it a lot, so I was there a lot. I can remember when I was a child, 5, 6 years old, every time my grandpa and his buddies and everybody get out to drink, they would give me a quarter and a sip of beer every time I went and got them a beer from the cooler. I did that a lot because they were all alcoholics, and I did that a lot. So, for my 5th Christmas, we'll go on up till I was 5 years old. My 5th Christmas, my grandpa bought me a little igloo cooler that holds a 6-pack and a 6-pack of Budweisers. I still have pictures to this day of me passed out on Christmas at 5 years old. So to say that my addiction started early, I can say that because it did. Because I loved to taste alcohol at a very young age. But once I got a little bit older, I got into sport and riding horses and showing horses and stuff. So therefore, I kind of got away from that stuff a whole lot. I started dibble-dabbling in Mary Jane and smoking it, and it was okay. I was okay doing that. I was fine. Then I got a little bit older, got my license, got to go out and have my own freedoms. Well, when I had my own freedoms, I went out and started doing other things. But I was partying a lot. And, partying a lot, smoking a lot, just, that's all I did was party, chase women. That was what I did. That brings us on up to the time I was 16. When I was 17, I tried methamphetamine for the first time. I didn't really care for it the first time. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't like the way it made me feel the first time. So it didn't really grab a hold of me the first time that I did it. So I sit back and, kept doing what I was doing, kept hanging around the people that I was hanging around, running around with the people I was hanging around. Well, at the age of 18, man, I met a family that was real big into the game of methamphetamine, and it was a whole family, the whole damn family. Well, I started hanging out with them all the time because I could go there, I could do whatever I wanted to, and nobody ever said a word. You know what I mean? No matter what I was doing, nobody said a word. I could lie, steal, cheat, whatever. Nobody cared because they were all doing the same thing. So they were big into the game, and man, I started doing it. Started doing it with them. And when I say that I jumped into it hard and heavy when I first started, I jumped into it hard and heavy when I first started. So that was at the age 18, and that brings me up to the point of 4 months after I turned 18, I caught my first felony charges. Um, um, I caught a burglary charge and a few other charges along with it for because I was trying to get my next fix, man. I was trying to find that next high, and I was young, dumb, and I didn't have no money, so that's what I went and done. And I wound up getting caught. I wound up getting put in drug court for that time. I was in drug court for 11 months. I never made it out of phase 1 because I never stopped getting high. The guy that was drug testing us, I became good friends with. So he wasn't watching me when I was peeing. So the whole time I was in drug court, I was getting high still. So that was no help. I got kicked out of drug court. I did a little bit of time in jail. Did about 11 months in jail. I got back out on shock probation because I wound up getting my GED while I was in jail. Where I got my GED, they let me out on shock probation. The whole time I was in jail, I was staying clean because, you know, at our little old jail, yeah, you can get stuff in there, but it was kind of hard. I mean, we didn't really do anything hard in there, but I stayed clean the whole time I was in jail. And I said I wasn't ever going to do it again. I was out. I did 11 and a half months in jail. I was out maybe a month, and I was already back out getting high again. And it didn't take me but about 2 weeks getting high. They caught me. I went straight back to jail. I served out my 3-year sentence in prison and in Barron County Jail. But, you know, I thought that would be enough after having to serve out that 3 years. But as soon as I got out, I stayed clean for about 2 months, was right back on it. And that's when stuff really, really got bad. Because I was robbing, stealing, cheating, lying. I mean, I was a world-class piece of shit to everybody around me and my family. It didn't matter who you was, what you was. You know, if you were the Pope and standing beside me, I'd pick your wallet if I could. It didn't matter. Shit, I lost track. But that brings me. I went on for, I don't know, about 10 years before I got in trouble again, because I stayed locked up in my father's garage all the time. I stayed locked up in that garage. I stayed in there. I didn't ever leave unless I was going to get more drugs. That's when I would run into Dakota all the time, you know, and then we would run around for a while, or the people. We always ran around with the same people, pretty much. Especially at the end of it. At the end of our addiction, we definitely run around with the same people all the time. You know, I can remember when me and Dakota was fighting over the same girl on a couch, you know, not long ago. You know, it was just what it was. But back to where I was at, you know, 15 years of a meth addiction, you know, it turned a toll on me. I started getting really depressed. I was really down on myself. I was with a girl for 4 years. We wound up splitting up, and then things got even worse. I didn't think they could get worse, but they got even worse. One of the biggest moments in my life, life-changing moments in my life, and it really didn't change anything, and it should have changed everything. When I was 28 years old, guys, I put a dog leash around my neck, and I hung myself in my father's garage. And if it was not for my ex, I wouldn't be here today. That's just bottom line. It's just the way it is. I would not be here today if it wasn't for that girl. I should be literally brain dead right now, but I'm lucky that God seen fit for me for me to be here. And God's got a purpose for everybody. And when I say God, guys, that's my higher power. I apologize if you don't believe in that, but just you got to have a higher power. But that happened. I spent 4 days in the hospital. I spent a week in a nut house, I guess you could call it. I was on the 6th floor down there in Louisville, Kentucky for a week, and they had me on so many antidepressants that it wasn't funny. I didn't even know who I was. I was a zombie. I got out of there, and I didn't like them. You know what I mean? I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like the way they made me feel. I felt like a zombie in life. But I got out, and I was doing those depressants for about a month, and then I quit taking them. I didn't tell nobody. I just quit taking them. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're doing so good. You're doing so good." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not even taking them no more." And I was doing good for just a little while. I was doing good for about 2 months there, 3 months. And, I went out to a friend's house, and I started drinking beer. And this is the reason why I don't drink alcohol. There's some people that was an addict that can drink alcohol, and it's okay. But I don't drink alcohol for this reason, because I drank 13 beers that night, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was driving drunk as a monkey, going to the dope man's house to get some more stuff. That's just what it was. So all this leads up to me going back to jail once again, for a meth charge. But, a meth charge in Barron County, Kentucky today is, happens all the time. It's just a regular thing. So they OR you out. OR'd me out. I signed myself out. Of jail once again. So at this point,
I did the same thing on mine.
So at this point, guys, I'm like 30 years old. All this has happened, and trust me when I say that I was deep into meth. I was deep into meth. I did it every single day. If I didn't do it, you didn't see me because I was asleep, and that's just the way it was. I did it every single day. I could wake up in the morning times with no money in my pocket, no gas in my vehicle. By the end of the day, I still had no money in my pocket. I still had no gas in my vehicle, but I had been around the world that day, and I had a bag full of dope in my pocket. Bottom line, that's just what it was. I never had anything. I never had anything. But that brings me on up to going. I went back to jail again. I OR'd myself out. I went down, spent about a few months in jail, or spent a night in jail. They let me back out. That's when I come out, and the dope had changed a lot over the years. It was not the same dope that I was used to doing. So it wasn't doing what I wanted. It wasn't doing what I wanted anymore, and it wasn't getting me to the point that I was wanting to. So that's when I started in on IV use. IV use was probably the stint of the worst mistake that I ever made doing, because it changed me as instantly as I did it, because I turned into the devil himself. People can believe anything they want to. Their higher power can be anything they want to, but I believe in God today, because I was the devil himself, for sure, 100%. But I started IV using, and the day that I was supposed to go to court over my little possession charge, and I wasn't in no trouble besides that at the time. I probably could have walked into that courtroom. They probably would have gave me 2 years probation, and I could have walked out that day. But yet, instead of doing that, I got big shot and did it that morning and said I was going to go to court like that. Well, come to find out, my court date was the week before that, and I had been high the whole time and didn't know it was there then. I couldn't remember anything. That brings me on up to my father and them moving away from my hometown. And I'm stubborn, hard-headed, and everything else, and I said I wasn't leaving. So there was a building behind my dad's old house. I took everything that I owned and I put in that building. They moved an hour and a half away. So here I was, stuck without a place to stay, without a place to live. I always had that safety net up until that point. I could always go back home. I always had that safety net, no matter what. No matter what happened, what I done, I could always go home. Because the whole time I was using, I never would be around my family. I would stay gone all the time. And be sleeping on people's couches if I slept, or just staying at their houses. People that was doing the same thing that I was doing. But that at that point, I was homeless. And it wasn't that I was homeless by choice or by because I had to be. It was homeless by choice, because I would rather stay in that state of mind and stay using and stay doing what I was doing, rather than leaving my hometown. So I was sleeping in my truck. I was stealing all the food that I eat. There was never a time that you got my truck, my middle console wasn't stacked full of Snickers bars and just dumb candy shit that I stole from the dollar store. I mean, it stayed full. I mean, literally, it really did. And there was many times that I would get to the point that I needed a nap or I needed to sleep, and I had 3 places that I went, and it was Walmart parking lot, Lowe's parking lot, or Rural King's parking lot, and that's where I would sleep. I would sleep in my truck there. So that went on for, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7, 8 months. I wound up getting called again because I was on the run from my bond where I hadn't been to court. I got called again. They caught me asleep in my truck outside the trailer park in Glasgow. They found a bag of dope in a pipe on me. Well, the cop that arrested me called the ambulance as soon as he got there. He called the ambulance. The ambulance come. They put an IV in me, and like literally squeezed the IV into me because I was so dehydrated, and so I hadn't eaten, drank anything in so long that I was so dehydrated that they was not going to send me to jail the way that I was. So I went to jail. I stayed in about a week. I got back out. Again. I come home to my dad's for, I don't know, about 6 months, and I wound up getting a job in Lexington, Kentucky, working through a place called MetroNet. I was trimming trees off of power lines. Wound up getting me a nice car, and all these things, and the car's name was in my dad's, or the car was in my dad's name because I didn't have any credit, nothing like that. But I was paying him, for the car insurance and the car. So that went on for about 4 months. But everybody I worked with down there was either doing heroin or doing meth or an alcoholic. Just bottom line, that's the way it was. So me hanging around those kind of people, I started doing it again. And where we was in Lexington, man, stuff was really, really cheap. I had a really good job. So it went on for me staying down there. I would stay down there all week long, and I would come home on the weekends. Well, for a while, for about 2 weeks, I came home. After that, I started just staying in Glasgow on the weekends. And, that's whenever I thought, hey, I'm doing big things, you know what I mean? Because I had a job, I had this, I had that. I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing. I was on probation for the charges that I had caught. The PO wasn't drug testing me. She let me do whatever I wanted to do. She saw that I had a job, so she didn't really bother me. As long as you're working and you come in and report, a lot of them won't bother you. You know what I mean? You can still get away with whatever you want to do. So that went on for a little while, and then I had an accident at work. I got bit by a dog, so that put me off work for a while. Well, when that happened, the guy that I was working for told me he would pay me so much a week to not file a workers' comp claim. So I had no job. I had all this free time, and I was getting a paycheck every single week. So whenever I would get that paycheck, I would make him get that paycheck, and every week I would take that paycheck, and I would keep $50 out of the paycheck, put gas in my car for that week, and the rest of the time, or the rest of the money would go to methamphetamine. I spent every dime I ever had on methamphetamine for years and years and years. But that went on for a while, and I thought I was really doing something because I had a job. I was on probation. I was still doing what I wanted to do, and I didn't have any consequences to it whatsoever. That brings us up till the next time that I went to jail. And guys, I've been to jail a lot. Trust me, I know it's in my story. That's why I tell it the way it is. It's real. So I went to jail again because I was at somebody's house. Somebody kicked in the door where I was at, and I was so high when they kicked in the door, there was a shotgun behind the door. Just so y'all know, I was a convicted felon at this time. I picked up a shotgun and laid it on this guy's shoulder, and I pulled the trigger. Well, the neighbors across the road called the law, this and that. I wound up stealing a girl's car, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and wound up getting caught. 10 miles down the road. So I picked up a slew of charges on that time. A slew. I think I wound up picking up 6 felonies at that time. So all that happened, I thought for sure, hey, they're done with me. I'm going back to prison. I went back to jail for about 3 months. I wound up running my charges together. My lawyer got it worked out to where I running my charges together. Instead of being on 2 years probation, I ended up getting 5 years probation and 6 years on the shelf. And they let me back out again. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So I'm back out. I come home. Mind you, I had an ankle bracelet on for about 6 months and all this. And man, I was doing really good, because I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do anything. The only place I didn't have no license. I didn't have no vehicle. So the only time I ever went anywhere was with my father or my stepmother. So I was doing really good. So that went on for a while. And I finally bought another little truck. Got me another little truck. Started doing some side work and started using again. As soon as the day that they took that ankle bracelet off me is the day that I started using again. I said I wasn't going to, but as soon as they took that ankle bracelet off me, I went right back straight to the places that I knew I shouldn't have been, but I did it anyway. So, went on for about 3 months there, running, maybe 6 months. I can't remember exactly the time limit because I was too out of my mind to remember what was going on. That brings me on up to the last time that I went to jail. And guys, when I tell you the last time I went to jail, just remind you that I was done. I wanted to quit. I was tired of that life. I was tired of doing what I was doing. So I got arrested at a girl's house that that Dakota knows, and I put her in a situation that she almost never got her kids back because I run from my car back into her house, and we were in Park City. But I know I seen you looking, so
yeah, I was like, who's he talking about now? I know who you're talking about.
But I put her in a position that she almost never got her kids back, man, and to put somebody in that position is messed up of me. But I wasn't thinking. I wasn't doing I wasn't in my right mind. So I go back to jail, and I'm in there, and I go to court, and I've been on probation this whole time, and I go to court, and I had never in my life. Well, first let me say this. I skipped over some stuff. When I got arrested that day, I got put in the back of a cop car. I got my hands behind my back. I'm in cuffs. I get in the car, and I said, and it was like a sign of relief, man. I was relieved that I was going to jail. I really was relieved that I was going to jail. Because that is the time that I knew I was tired of using. I was tired of doing. I was tired of living the life that I was living, man. Because I had nothing, never had nothing because of methamphetamine. So I went back to jail. I stayed in there about a month. Then I got a court date, and it was a revocation hearing to revoke my probation. So I had to go back and do my 6 years. I go in there and I talk to my little appointed attorney. And he tells me that they're going to revoke me that day. And I said, yeah, they probably are going to revoke me. I don't know this is coming. So I sit there, and my lawyer's talking and stuff, and they're getting ready to revoke me and give me my 6 years. So I'm going back to prison. And something come over me, and I stopped my lawyer, and I looked at the judge, and I said, Judge, can I speak to you for a second? He said, yes, sir, you can. And the judge has known me for a long time, guys. You know what I mean? I've been in a lot of trouble. He's known me. He known my face. He said, Stephen, what can I do for you? I said, I want help. Can I go to rehab? And he sit there, and he looked down and come look back up at me, and he said, Stephen, do you really want help? I said, yes, sir, I do. I want help. He said, okay, we're going to get you some help. So I go back to jail. This is the end of 2019, the beginning of this is the end of 2020, or the beginning of 2020. So I'm in jail, and I'm waiting on a bed at rehab. They finally come in 2 months later and tell me, hey, they got me a bed open at the Healing Place in Campbellsville. But they're not taking anybody right now because of COVID. So I'm like, what the crap? I'm going to be in here for years trying to wait on a bed to rehab. But luckily, they gave me a COVID test. I was negative, and the Healing Place in Campbellsville accepted me. So here I was, done all this time in jail, done all these years of drugs and running and fleeing and evading. You know what I mean? Like, I was the type of person, whether I was doing something or I don't, I saw a cop, I turned went the other way, and it took me a long time to get over it. Sometimes
I still do it sometimes.
Well, sometimes I still think about it. I think about it when I see them, but
I still do.
But it was just it was that. So the day I got out, they give me Campbellsville's like an hour and 45 minutes from Glasgow, or an hour and a half from Glasgow. They give me 2 hours to be at rehab, or they were gonna revoke my probation. So my dad picks me up. He brings my dog with me. I mean, guys, my dog's my kid. I don't have any kids, so therefore, brings my dog with me. And here we go, driving to Campbellsville, Kentucky. I've only been there once in my life as a young man, like when we went up there to ride the strip. I didn't know anything about the place. I'd never been to no treatment facilities before. I had been in some halfway houses before that and things, so I had no idea what to expect. So I get there, and with COVID going on, they got their ordeal. They're gonna put you in a room by yourself for the first 3 days to make sure that you don't have COVID. That was their little deal that they done. So I went up there, and I got stuck in a room for 3 days. Well, for 3 days, I sit in this room by myself. It's like a hotel room. I mean, you had two twin beds, its own bathroom, its own shower. It's like a hotel room. Except it had 2 little twin beds in it. And so I sit in there for 3 days. Well, I luckily had a window that was all the way at the back of the rehab. So out back is where everybody played volleyball, basketball, excuse me, cornhole and all that. Well, I was there, and I opened my window, and I was watching all these people, probably 100 guys walk in and out and doing all these things. Well, I wound up seeing somebody that I knew there. And his name was Josh. Well, I hollered at him, and he come over. And with COVID going on, everybody in the rehabs had cell phones. And I asked him if I could use his cell phone, and he asked me. He said, "What do you want my cell phone for?" I said, "Man, I just really want to call my dad." He said, "Are you thinking about leaving?" I said, "No, I'm not thinking about leaving at all." He said, "Okay, good." He said, "Because if you was thinking about leaving, I wasn't gonna give you a phone." So he let me use his phone. I talked to him a little bit. I called my dad. I got to talk to him a little bit. Well, the next day, they come got me, took me out of this room, took me back there, and done all my paperwork, got me, signed in and everything like that. So basically, I went through it's a 6-month rehab. It's a 12-step program. I really believe in the 12 steps. I believe it wholeheartedly. It is a foundation of telling you how to get sober. I have the AA book right here. And when I talk about a higher power, and I'm going to talk about it a lot here for the next few minutes. But when I say that this book, it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. When this book About this much of this book is about alcoholism. The rest of it's about God or your higher power, whatever you want to call it. And that's the God's honest truth, and that's just the way it is. But I'm in there. Man, I wasn't. I said I wanted to change, but the only thing I done was got clean and sober. I didn't change anything that I had done for the first 3 months I was in there. I was still doing lying and cheating and doing whatever I could to get through that program. I did a couple of different things in that program that should have got me kicked out, but I got lucky and God seen fit for me to stay there. I mean, I did, like, you're not allowed to go in anybody else's rooms. Well, I got caught in other people's rooms, hanging out, just doing stupid shit that I wasn't supposed to be doing. So I was in there about 3 months, and that's when I got caught. And I was sitting there, and the director of the healing place told me, he said, Stephen, we're not going to decide on whether you get to stay or you don't. We're going to let your peers. It's a peer-based program. They do, I don't, if you've been through a peer-based program, they do a thing called community on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And your punishments in there are writings. And you get so many words. And usually, basically, most people go into a program like that or a program there like that. They'll write anywhere from 100,000 to 150,000 words in their 6 months. When I say that I was doing all this crazy stuff, I wrote 672,833 words while I was there in 6 months. So I go up and I go to community, and I'm sitting there around all these guys that I've been living with for the last 3 or 4 months, and they all decide that I should stay. But they said it's not going to be easy if you want to stay, and I knew what was coming. So they put me on the board. They give me a bunch of writings to do, and just at that one point in time, I had 400,050 words that I had to write in a matter of a week. That was the only way that I could stay. That really showed me the want to of wanting to be sober and wanting to stay sober, because I wrote every single word of that punishment. So we get on up. And after that fact, man, that's when my spiritual awakening really happened. I had a spiritual awakening, and I knew I had to get honest with myself. I had to be honest with everybody around me. I was doing step work, and I had a really good sponsor from Bowling Green, Kentucky. He's moved away now, but I had a really good sponsor at the time. And he told me, he said, Stephen, take your time on your 4th step. He said, your 4th step's the biggest thing there is. So I sit down, and I really did. I did a thorough 4th step, guys. I did so much. I wrote everything that I'd ever done down that I could remember. And still to this day, I have things that I didn't write on my 4th step that I go back, and I have a different sponsor today, but I call him and I tell him about it. And that's the biggest thing. So I did my 4th step. I dropped my 5th with my sponsor. Did the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th step. Got on 12th step. I'm getting ready to graduate, and lo and behold, did I not get in trouble 2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate from rehab. I was supposed to be done, and here I was. They're wanting to start me completely over in the program, and I was mad. That's an understatement. I was mad. I done called my PO back home. I called the PO up there. I called my dad, everything, and said I'm leaving. And the PO back home told me to call the PO up there. I called her. She said, Stephen, if you leave, I'm revoking your probation today, and I'm putting a warrant out for your arrest. So I slept on it, man. I didn't make no decisions at that time. I did. I listened to all the guys that were there with me. I really did. I took all their suggestions and listened to them, and I wound up staying. So I went back up to community again 2 weeks before I was supposed to get out, and they gave me it's not a restart. They didn't give me a restart, but they did give me the worst thing, and it's called basically I had to go through the first 3 steps of the rehab for the next 3 weeks. Granted, I'm supposed to be out in 2 weeks. Well, that set me off almost another month of being in there. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And also, it felt like the worst when it did. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. I had buckled down and really changed a lot of my life at that time. But that's when I really buckled down, and I seen if I didn't change every single aspect of my life, that man, I would wind up going back. I said last night in our little meeting last night in here that I never told on nobody in my life, but I did tell my roommate at the time that if he didn't stop or if he didn't tell on himself, then I was going to tell on him, and I meant it wholeheartedly. Because I would be, I'm to the point now in life, I would much rather tell on you and save your life than not tell on you and watch you die. When I graduated, I did graduate the program. And when I graduated, I was planning on going home. I said, I'm going home, guys. When I graduate, I'm going home. Well, my sponsor talked to me. He said, Stephen, why don't you stay and work in the office? And, it's called a peer mentor position. And I said, man, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. He's like, just think about it. He said, go write down what you could do at home in the next 3 months and what you can, he said, and then write down what can't wait. And I didn't have anything that couldn't wait another 3 months because I didn't have anything. So I wound up going in the office and working at the rehab for the next 3 months. That was the most enlightening thing that I ever done. That's when I really got to work a 12-step, and I really got to help other alcoholics and other addicts the most. Because I was helping guys that were new there coming in the program. And, hell, I was the guy. It was me and another guy mainly. But I was the guy when them new guys walked through the door and they had them nerves and them and everything going on with them, and like I did when I walked in there, I was that guy that walked up to that front door and said, "Hey, how you doing? You're at a good place. Don't go nowhere, man. Y'all just stay here and hang out." So I graduated. I did the peer mentorship. I got out. I started sponsoring people, doing things like that. But, life started getting a lot easier. I come home. I got another job. I started doing plumbing work 2 weeks after I got home with a guy, with a really, really spiritual and religious man. He was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me when I got a rehab. But I kept that job. Then I wound up getting another job. So I was working 2 jobs. And I wound up quitting the first one and doing the second one full time. And I had that job all the way up until 2 weeks ago. And it only reason I quit, guys, is because the stress level of that job was getting to me to the point that I was thinking about getting high again. I was thinking about getting high all the time whenever I was there. And so we to say this program works if you work it the way you're supposed to is an understatement, because it definitely will. This is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I apologize for that, but probably most of you are glad. Probably most of you are glad you ain't got to hear my goofy ass for the next 30 minutes. But I can't stress enough, guys, that finding your higher power, whether it be your family, whether it be the fellowship, whether it be a rehab, whether it be your mom, your dad, your kids, whatever, they even said in rehab all the time, they said, man, make your higher power a doorknob. But I wouldn't do that because it'll turn on you, But the thing about it is, man, you got to find something in your life that is not going to fail you. And for me, that's God. I can't stress enough that that's what it is. And it really is. You got to find, first thing you got to do is you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to have hope. You got to have faith. You got to have integrity. You got to have the willingness to do this. You got to have the courage to do it. Self-discipline is a big one. Because like when I was in rehab, I would have all these guys holding me accountable. You know what I mean? They would hold you accountable for doing what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big part of the program. When you leave that program, you don't have those people holding you accountable. It's self-discipline. You have to hold yourself accountable. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, correct yourself, make it right. You just got to have humility and justice in your life. You got to have all these things to be able to do this program. But first things first, if y'all do not have a sponsor and want to try to get help, get you a sponsor and let them help you. I cannot stress that enough. I'm trying to tell Dakota the same thing. I'm trying to get Dakota to try the 12 steps, man. And if he wants help through it, I will help him through it. I mean, if he wants me to be a sponsor, I'll be a sponsor. It would probably be a little bit easier for me to be a sponsor because I know most of his story, and it would be easier for him to tell me. But if he thinks that I'm going to make it easy on him to work the 12 steps, he's got wrong. He's got life all messed up because listen, guys, whenever I went through rehab, look, I had 13 guys that I was really, really close with that signed this book. Like a yearbook, I guess. You know what I mean? I never did graduate high school, so I didn't have that. So that's what we done. So we I have 13 names in that book, and 3 out of them 13 went back out, and they're all deceased now. They all have passed away from addiction. There's 3 more that's in there that are back out right now, ripping, running, drugging, drinking, doing all the things that we were doing. And the rest of us are still sober. But my class that I went through there with was 68 guys. There were 68 of us in there the whole 6 months together. And out of the 68, there's 13 of them that's passed away from this disease. And it really is a disease, guys. That's why insurance will pay, like what Shelby said the other night. That's why insurance will pay for it. That's why, I mean, it really is a disease. It starts out with a choice. Yes, I believe that. It's your choice whether you want to do it or not. But once it gets to a certain point, it ain't a choice no more. You have to have it. You have to do it. And you just, your mind tells you got to do it. But I'm getting ready to say some stuff, man, and I'm not trying to boast. I'm not trying to boast at all. I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not trying to be no big head thing or anything like that. I'm just telling you what recovery has done for me. For 32 years of my life, I did not have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Everything I had was my father's, but I told everybody it was mine. You know what I mean? But everything I had was my father's. But today, I own 2 acres of land. I have a truck that gets me from A to B. I had a good job up until 2 weeks ago. I've got another job. I'm probably going to start a new job in the next 2 weeks. The only reason I'm not working is because I'm going on vacation to Florida next week. So I'm just saying, man, that recovery is worth it. If you really want something in your life, if you want something out of your life, if you want to make something of yourself, try it. Try the 12 steps. You know what I mean? My DMs are open for anybody. I had a few people contact me already. I love that because when I'm helping another alcoholic or addict, it helps me. Me doing this right now, if it doesn't help anybody else out of the 174 people in here, it's helping me. So the thing about it is, guys, is just go through it. Think about it. If you would have told me 3 years ago that I would own land, getting ready to start building my own house, have this, have that, and have money in my pocket, I would have told you you're crazy because Dakota knows. Dakota knows as well as anybody that, when I was running around, yeah, I had a car, but it wasn't mine. You know what I mean? I stuck that payment and all that stuff on my dad. But my sister just texted me. She's on here.
Tell her I said anyway. What up?
Yeah, but guys, I just want y'all to be just be honest with yourself and see if you really want this life or not. If you need to reach out to Dakota. If you need to reach out to me. I didn't say this, but thank you, Lord, for letting me have 2 years, 8-9 months of sobriety, whatever it is. I don't keep up with it day to day, but I keep up with it from year to year. And, that's just what it is. January the 11th of next year, I will have 3 years sober if God allows that to happen. But, guys, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate all you guys in here. I love all you guys in here, and I love it. Dakota, thank you for doing this, man. It really has helped me a lot. Thank you, brother.
It's helped me a lot. I don't know if anybody's got any questions they want to ask you or not.
Well, I don't know if I'll answer them.
He probably ain't smart enough to answer them, y'all.
Well, hey, as long as you read them to me, I'll be all right.
He burned his brain cells up. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all.
Hell, I didn't have many to start with.
Nah, for real. Everybody that comes in here, we just hope it helps somebody. It's one person. If y'all didn't see it or if y'all missed some of it, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Tonight.
Lord.
It'll take a while, but it'll be on there tonight sometime. But tomorrow, what is today?
That's my sister right there, Dakota. Just come in. Or
just, I see her there.
The smiley faces. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Thank
one
you,
I got
Amber,
to take to prom while he was in jail, y'all.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Or she took me to prom.
Yeah, she took you prom.
But anyways,
I was too nervous doing all that.
Oh, I know.
Anybody got any questions or anything?
It gets nervous.
Nobody else wants to ask me questions. Yeah, I got nervous. Hell.
Yeah, mine, I hated them. Mine. Mohawk and all. Yeah, I had a mohawk and a camouflage vest and tie, y'all. Lisa asked something.
Is there a specific pain that you were running from, like your nail, the issue I haven't been able to? Lisa, I had a number of things that I was trying to cope with and I was trying to run from. But they didn't come until later in life because when I started out, I was doing it for fun. I was doing it to fit in. I was doing it to have fun. Like I still to this day, I love staying up all night. You know what I mean? Like I love staying up all night. So therefore, that's what I mean. A lot of times, that's what I do if I don't have anything to do the next day. But to nail it completely down, yes, I have. I do, Lisa. I do have some reasons. But that is personal and it's between me and my sponsor, and I would rather not share it on this app. I hope I don't upset you saying that, but it really is between me and my sponsor on that situation. Remember broken alcohol kills, been sober 5 years.
I don't know who it was talking.
That's me. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, guys, I just hope I help somebody. I really do. Right, same. It was all about fun to be. It's good. Yeah, Lisa, that's right. What's your biggest accomplishment since you've been sober? Misty, my biggest accomplishment since I've been sober is staying sober.
I mean, I was honestly, going to say the same thing.
Staying sober is my biggest accomplishment because I've never been sober this long in my life. That's my biggest accomplishment. But my next one would be probably buying land and wanting to build a house. I think she's asking, how did you find the reason? She said she can't pinpoint hers. Jessica, I get what you're saying, but that's something that's probably personal that you need to, get a sponsor and talk about. And that's what a 4th step is all about. That's why you do a 4th step, is to pinpoint why you're doing the things that you're doing in life. Thanks, sis.
Oh, I thought she was talking to me. Shit.
You ain't no uncle. Shut up. You ain't my uncle. You ain't her uncle. Stop your shit. That is why my daughter has been clean 4 years and she still wants to stay up all night. Yeah, Kathy, I understand that. I still love it. Lisa, I've been sober 2 years and 8 or 9 months. It'll be 3 years in January.
Tomorrow. I can be an uncle tomorrow.
Well, at least he ain't her daddy. That's all that matters.
Anyway,
have I had a bad experience with sponsors? Cassie, yes, I have. When my first sponsor moved away, the one I went through rehab with, when he moved away, I like to be able to go face to face and talk with people, especially about stuff like that. I like to go face to face and talk with people. But yes, I have had a bad experience. There's some sponsors out there that are good for you, and there's some sponsors out there that are not good for you. You just got to find that one. My second sponsor was trying to baby me, and I'm a hard-headed person. I can't get over Dakota's pajama pants. But anyways.
What?
Your pajama pants.
You don't like them?
You're goofy. But
they're old man jammer pants.
Yeah, but
I'm an old man now.
Is mental health part of your story? what is that? Dual what? I don't know what that is.
Diagnosis.
Dual mental health part of your story. Yeah, mental health is a big part of it
I think mental
because
health has something to do with anybody that's had addiction.
yeah, because here's the thing is when I went to rehab, they say for the first 3 months you're still in that fog. You're still not thinking clearly.
Oh yeah, it took me like
and research says that a meth addict, it takes a full year for a meth addict to get back to its normal brain.
I agree with that 100%. I know even at 6 months, I still, dude, I've felt so dumb about some stuff. I mean, I still kind of do, but yeah, it takes a long time to get that normal back.
Yeah, research says it takes a meth addict 1 year.
And I think it depends on how bad you was for how long too. And
it definitely does.
As bad as either one of us was, that full year, it took more than that.
I think that it really, I think it honestly took me almost a year and a half, almost two, about a year and 8 months or something, probably somewhere like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Dakota, she wants to know how long you've been sober.
Like a year and 6 months, 7 months, something. I don't know. I don't keep up with the exact date, y'all.
Misty, yes, depression, anxiety, shame, guilt, and so many factors play into addiction and sobriety. Yeah, Misty, you're right about that. And I look, I'm gonna say it again. I know I'm stressing this out, but man, that's what a 4th step is for. Is you write all that stuff down that you went through, all that stuff that you did, and then it's got columns in it. And once you write it down, you write down why you did it, and then you figure out why at the end of it what was causing you to do that. Like if you were doing it because you were dishonest, you were doing it because you were just a lot of mine was being dishonest with myself, and I was being dishonest with everybody around me. Let me go back. I gotta go back up. Does it bother you being around people drinking? No, it does not bother me being around people drinking. I can be around people drinking because I know that nothing is going to take my recovery away from me. It does not bother me being around people drinking because I was working at a restaurant. People were drinking in there all the time. But I have yet to this day put myself in where Dakota I have put.
Spit it out, Sherlock.
I have not put myself in the position of being around drugs because I still have problems with that, I think.
Yeah, you don't want
to. Accurate withdrawal symptoms up to 2 years. Yes, Cassie, I believe that. We're very proud of you both. Thank you so much. Hey, Dakota. I bet neither of you ever saw yourselves making a difference like you are, and now awesome comeback. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I
imagine myself hunting a rock, fishing, or smoking dope.
No, we were doing all three. But anyway,
that's what I'm saying. I imagine myself doing one of the three the rest of my life.
Yes, the 4th step is soul searching for sure. I don't listen, guys. I don't get high anymore, but you know what? I did pick up hunting rocks whenever I was doing that. I did that a lot when I was doing that, and I still do it this day. I even got a tattoo of a damn arrowhead on my arm.
Yeah, I got a field all around my house and creek.
Yeah. We need to go sometime. We'll do it sober this time.
They're worked and everything. I found all kinds of good rocks back here.
Oh, my God. I found some going to check deer cameras the other day. It was awesome. Thank you, guys. Anybody else got any more questions? And thank you all for the gifts. I wasn't paying attention. I just now seen that. Thank you all for the gifts. I appreciate that. You did not have to do that.
Hey, I'm gonna do a poll real quick.
All right.
I hadn't planned on it yet.
As a mother of 2 grown boys, man, I am extremely proud of you both. Thank you so much.
I hadn't planned on it yet, y'all, because I know we're going to do it Sunday. And I think Kristen's going to tell her story Monday. But,
yeah, and I know, Shannon, I still got a bucket of rocks.
I got boxes of rocks.
I sent you the pictures of ones I found the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I hadn't decided on tomorrow yet or not if y'all want to do anything. I could probably get somebody to tell their story tomorrow, but we need to do that, or we could do chat where we just get in boxes and hang out. I'd rather do that, I think, tomorrow. But if y'all want to do it, smiley face tomorrow. If you would rather just hold off tomorrow and give it a break, a sad face, y'all decide. That's just something around here, Jessica.
Yeah, well, that's all we do. That's all we did.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Sendit wants to speak, Jessica said.
All right, I'll set him up a date. I've got Christian's Monday, Carrie's Wednesday, Queen B of Savage is Friday. His will have to be
And guys, or girls, I should say, girls,
the 19th.
if you're a girl that you went through addiction problems or going through addiction problems, whatever it may be, uh, then come in Monday night. I know Kristen. I've known Kristen for years. She's going to have a really. I haven't heard her story, but I'm sure it's good. Like me and Dakota. I've known her for a long time. But she's going to have a really good story. She works the steps. It was 38-3, Dakota. So she works the steps.
All right, we'll do it tomorrow at 7 then. We'll do boxes tomorrow at 7, y'all.
My daughter likes to hunt the rocks and arrowhead hunt also.
Oh my God, you don't understand. Ask Steven. I was addicted more than anybody to hunting rocks.
Yeah,
I'd have people drop me off at a field and come back and get me 2 days later.
Yeah, he would have me drop him off and call me 3 hours later and tell me to come pick him up. And I had a 2011 Mustang that was as clean as anything around in town. And here he come walking out with mud from his freaking head to his toes and wanting to get in my car. No.
But I'd have all kinds of rocks.
Yeah, pocket full of
them. Yeah, tomorrow at 7 Central, y'all. We'll do boxes tomorrow night if y'all just want to hang out and chat, whatever.
Look, this is just what's in my room right now.
Yeah, this field back here behind me is eat up with them.
Yeah, the one across from the house over here is too. Okay. I will. So boxes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Carrie or Casey.
Cassie.
Casey's who I meant was on the 16th.
That's Cassie.
Or the 16th. Oh, Casey. You want to do yours on the 14th?
Dakota, did you get me? Okay, looking forward to it. This is amazing. I have found my people. Hell yeah, Sunshine. That's awesome.
Or Casey, you want to do yours on the 14th? I got you and somebody else mixed up. I can switch them around if you need it to be the 16th.
Oh, it is Casey.
But if you want to do it on the 14th, that'd work. Steph, we'll be doing boxes. Okay, Casey, we'll do you on the 16th on next Friday then.
Kentucky Girl Steph, just come in when we're doing it and just request a box. We did it last night. We had 3 boxes open pretty much the whole time. So just come in and request and we'll get you in.
I'll switch it around, Casey.
Yeah, brother. Hey, for Stefan 1411. Yeah, hey man, I sent you a message back, but the message that I sent you, TikTok wouldn't let me send. I don't know why.
I'll check it, Stefan.
It was some of the stuff. It was some of the stuff that I said. I guess I did send you information on how to get a hold of me on there. If not, I'll check it again tonight. And yes, man, we'll talk, brother. I know what you're going through. You told me what you were going through, and I can just give you my suggestions on how to help with that, brother. I mean, that's all I can do is give suggestions. Whether you take them or not, that's up to you.
Yeah, and if anybody, if y'all go to my page and go to my link tree, if you just need to talk or if you got something going on, if you got questions or if you just need somebody to talk to or if you do want to tell your story, send me an email. My email is on there, so y'all can send me an email. And then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch any of these that we miss. If you miss any or if you got something going on, you can do that.
Steven, y'all roll up and read. This lady's
Congrats, Jennifer.
What ladies? Kentucky Girl Steph. I thought I did read them.
Misty, you can go to my page and click up here and then go to the little...
Shit.
Hold on.
Kentucky Girl Steph, send whatever you sent again, please, because I missed it and they're wanting me to read it. I don't know what it is. All links in bio. There's something.
Hold on, I'll show you.
Yeah. Mindy, I know what you're saying. I just wanted to send it again. Hey, thank you for the roses, brother. Appreciate you.
So, Misty, if you go here
Okay.
and you click on that, it takes you to the YouTube.
She's a doctor that is willing to get in her box and help. That's awesome. Kentucky Girl Steph, that's awesome that you want to help. I really love that. This is by far the biggest group that I've told my lead to, for sure. I've told it
That's
a
good.
bunch of different. I've told it a bunch of different times. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. I mean, I think I had like 60 or something. I told it to once before in Louisville.
When I had to do mine at that rehab, it was ridiculous. But we had 200 people in that rehab.
Yeah, but you knew them all personally, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the difference when you live with somebody and then you go out and do it in front of strangers. It's a lot different. Yes, I would love to hear your perspective. Yes, me
Yeah, we'll
too.
be doing boxes tomorrow at 7.
All right, hey, make sure you send me the just text me the thing again like you have been.
I will.
That way I don't
I'll
forget.
send it to you.
Excuse me.
All right, y'all. We're going to hop off for the night. Like I said, y'all can click on my link, send an email, or subscribe and watch it, whatever you need to do. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
I love all you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, Joe Dakota, for doing this. I know. I think God wanted you to do this, brother, because you needed it for real. I think He did.
It helps me
I
more
did
than
too.
it helps most people, I think.
Kentucky Girl Steph, yes, I am from Kentucky. I live about 20 minutes south of Bowling Green, about an hour and 45 minutes from Dakota. But me and Dakota grew up in the same town.
Yeah, I took his sister to prom.
Shut your mouth. We heard that already.
I'm making sure if new people are here, they know.
No, we got less people. I think everybody's been here, okay? We don't need to hear it.
There might be somebody new. I want everybody to know.
I don't know why.
I just want everybody to know.
If it wasn't for Sharon, it wasn't for Aunt Sharon, I would have never knew it anyway.
I know. All right, y'all. We'll be back on here tomorrow at 7 Central. I'll see y'all then. We'll be doing
brother,
boxes then. See y'all.
See you, bro.
I hope everybody has a blessed night.